What's going on, my people? How are we all? The sun is shining. It has been warm. It's like 16 degrees today or something, which obviously as gas engineers we want cold, but it's nice to see a little bit of sunshine. Nice to get that vitamin, is it D for sunshine? D or E? One of the two. I'm pretty sure it's D. And just improve your mood a little bit. So what have we been up to this week? This week's actually a video that is quite old. I think I filmed this stuff like a year ago. And yeah, it's just been sitting in the archive for a rainy day. Because there's been a lot of servicing the last couple of weeks. So yeah, still some decent jobs nevertheless. There's 2 or 3 on here. And that's what I've done this week. A pre-purchase plumbing and heating inspection. Now, normally people want either a gas safety or a boiler service. This one was really involved. They wanted pressures of every outlet, flow rates of every outlet, all waste connections, you name it, they wanted it, which is nice too. I went there, I ended up spending 6 hours, which was per hour, which was obviously fine. And actually it was quite enjoyable to do. Put together a PDF. My wife actually helped me put something really nice together to present it. And yeah, it was nice to do. It's really in depth. The seller was lovely, and the vendors, they're my the buyers, sorry, they're my customers for a while, and they're really nice. But yeah, how do you do yours? Do you do them at all? Are they involved? Are they not involved? Yeah, it was quite nice to do an involved one. And yeah, it was quite fun, really. Just plot up in one house for one day. It's a huge house, like 6-bedroom house. So there was a lot to check, like en suites and whatnot, kitchens, utilities. There was 2 kitchens in there. Even wanted to know outside taps and things like that. So yeah, that was a good one. How do you do your pre-purchase inspections, if you do them? How do you charge for them? I do per hour. And what are you checking? And next one you're going to see is a filtered cold water tap, drinking tap. To be honest, I've needed to get back to this since November, and only getting back to it now, the end of January. There's just been other emergency stuff in. It's not the closest job either, but yeah, should hopefully be pretty straightforward. Have I done one of these before? I don't think I've ever actually done one of these before. So hoping it looks straightforward in the box. So annoyingly, the sound didn't record, and this was filmed over a year ago, so you're going to have to bear with me a bit. But there's a dripping filter tab. Should be a nice easy swap, but let's locate the isolation, which is that one there. Let's drain out the tap and use some air to push out any excess water, although we're guaranteed for it to run down our sleeve with it located in that position. Faithful Unilight. This is quite a good light, to be fair. Nice and handy. It's just one little connection there. I don't even know the size of that. I think it's maybe 10mm, maybe 8mm. But twin grips are perfect to get in little spaces like that. So well done, Knipex. Loosen that off a little bit. Then we can just undo it by hand. And then there's a little locking ring that holds the spout in place. What did I say? Guaranteed to get water down the sleeve. Always roll your sleeves up if you're undoing a pipe where the water's going to come down vertically. Twin grips to the rescue again. Loosen up that locking nut a little bit. Then we should be able to do it by hand if I can remember correctly. Yeah, I feel like I'm in the crystal maze doing something like this. Obviously, I cannot see a single thing. It's all being done by touch. Does anyone else miss the crystal maze? That was a good show. But the one with the bald guy, not the one with the guy with hair. The original one. That was like Saturday night staple viewing. This should now just pull straight through. Nice and easy. And the next one should just go in the reverse way. There we go. This one actually has a little washer on top. Stop any water ingress getting down the back. And it's on a push fit connection. Again, making life a lot easier. pop that back through the hole. Perfect fit. That's always a good sign. I always find it tricky when it's just one person fitting a set of taps. If you go too tight, it will generally just spin the tap the way you don't want it to go. And your arms aren't long enough to have like one up top and then one underneath tightening. Obviously 2 people is always better than 1. Had to nick a little bit at the end off there just because the tube wasn't very tight. Pushing in my insert, ready for the push fit. Push fit coupling on. And then this can go straight up into the back of the unit once I've got the locking nut on. But yes, much easier having this as push fit than the actual nut, I think anyway. Let me know if you think differently. But there you go, that's all locked and tight. Again, all done by touch, so it's a bit of a pain. And this is on a swivel, so it's not as bad getting the right position. But there you go, nice and tight. Not going anywhere. Push fit connector pushed in. Water switch back on. And away we go, ready for some filtered water. Thanks for watching. Oh, and just make sure there's no leaks. It's always the last thing to do before you leave. Now we're heading up to central London, kind of Mayfair area, to see why a toilet isn't flushing. I have my suspicions. So we're going to replace the bellows in this toilet. It's not flushing properly. Let's get this out. So we've got a new one here. So next one on the list is a leaking electric boiler. Believe it's a Daxam, leaking just all the time. So I'm gonna guess there's a cold mains issue with it. Let's go have a look. So we got this leak on here. could be coming from in there. This clip here. Let's dry this up, silicone grease here. And try and put it back in there, see what happens. So annoyingly, couldn't get that to stop dripping. Looks like possibly a hairline crack on the inside of the manifold or something. So it's just not sealing properly. So yeah, that's it. That was a new O-ring in there that somebody else did. And then I've put some silicone grease in it and still nothing. Which I wasn't hopeful anyway, but it was worth a try. Ooh, it's in. All right. One of these doors. Sorry, doors got stuck. Yeah, that was it. A couple of TRVs were stuck in there, but I'm sure you got no interest in seeing that. So now we'll head back to the van. It's just gonna get noisy on this busy main road. So there's a little mixture there of jobs today. Yeah. A few different bits and pieces. As I'm sure you're probably aware, like I mainly do breakdowns, repairs, diagnosis, servicing. Don't really do much installation. Don't really do any general plumbing. I'm trying to start doing some general plumbing and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm doing little bits and pieces there. But that's why, as you can see, a lot of the time I just haven't done certain jobs before. Yeah, just never used to do it. So I started my apprenticeship with British Gas, so there was no plumbing at all, no installation at all, because I was on the service and repair side. And then I worked at a company doing social housing, which again was exactly the same: boilers, radiators, central heating, gas appliances, but no installation, no plumbing. So yeah, here we are. starting to take my plumbing journey. So let me know if you've got any tips. So we have it. Those jobs are done. Haven't seen one of them electric boilers in a while, it seems like now. Ages since I've done one. I say this is like older footage put together. Something I was going to say, and it has completely eluded me. No, it's completely gone from my head. That shows my age. That shows how old I'm getting. The things just pop in and straight out again. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Hype. And if I think of this, I'll put it at the end of this. If I think of what I was going to say. I remember what I was going to say. With the pre-purchase inspections that I was talking about at the beginning, does anyone else find it really uncomfortable? Because obviously you're there on behalf of the buyer, but you're facing the seller normally. Sometimes it's an agent, which is fine, or an empty property. But yeah, I just find it really uncomfortable, but you're there kind of on the buyer's side. Because ultimately I find, not saying this was the case on this one, but often the buyer wants to find a problem or things that may be substandard so they can bring down the price. Not saying that was the case on this one. I don't actually think it was the case on this one. I think they were just being very cautious that everything was up to scratch. And the property was only 10 years old. So, yeah, it should be fine. But, well, it was fine. I'd done the inspection. Everything was good or extremely good. But, yeah, often I find it really uncomfortable because you may have to tell the buyer there's a problem, tell the seller there's a problem. And, yeah, they're like, but I haven't even employed you. And the same as, like, say, for instance, you go there and you find a gas leak, you've got to shut them off. And they're like, but I didn't even bring you here. So, yeah, that's what I was going to say.